Hey, welcome to the Philosophy Podcast. I am your host, Controversy, and to my right, my co-host, Mr.
Darren Lowe.
And together, we are the Philosophy Podcast. Thank you to you guys for tuning in for another episode. Thank you for tuning in again this week for more content. And yeah, if you've already seen our content before and you're familiar with the channel, we are the Philosophy Podcast, and we discuss a wide variety of all sorts of different topics and different subject matters and all kinds of different stuff. And we're going to have a different episode coming in your guys' direction each and every week, talking about different topics and all sorts of different things. Yeah, so just stay tuned. And yeah, we'll be back again each and every week with more content. Yeah, guys.
We enjoy learning.
That's it. That's
we love
it.
learning, don't we?
That's it. And we like to share our information and our knowledge and our experience and everything else with you guys. And yeah, we just want to, just thank you for tuning in. And yeah, if you're new to the channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you do like the content, please, because it obviously helps our channel to grow. And yeah. Without further ado, mate, what should we talk about today, mate? What's on the agenda for today?
Let's talk about success. What's success?
Success. That's an interesting one. Well, mate, I'll let you take it from here, mate. I'll let you start off because I've been yabbering on long enough. I'll let you have the floor first.
Okay, thank you.
What's your thoughts? What are your thoughts, my good sir, on success?
Well,
can you please expound on your point?
Well, my theory of success is just kind of like enjoying the moment, really.
That's it.
If you can do that, I think that's successful. If you can smile, even. Some people can't smile, can they?
Just smile.
Just smile.
Never let your problems get you down. Just smile.
That's what you've got to do.
Yeah.
And that is success, really.
That is
that's.
success, yeah.
I mean, I think if you can go out on the streets, right, and smile at everyone, right, and everyone sees you smiling, right,
yeah,
they think to themselves, oh, he must be, he looks happy.
Yeah.
He looks successful.
Sometimes people get envious of you just looking a bit happiest.
They don't like it.
Happiest.
They don't like it.
Happiest.
So we all make mistakes.
Some people get envious just seeing you happy, mate. You know what I mean? Just seeing you like on a happy, positive vibe, going about your day, conducting your business and running your errands and getting on with what you got to do, being productive. And they see you and get upset just because of that. Just because they see you happy and they might be a bit miserable or a bit unhappy with what's going on. It's just like, mate, come on.
Like if you're sort of like, there's a place where, like say a council place.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's lots of poor people there, and they're all hanging out the streets or whatever, and then you walk along the street in a suit,
Yeah.
and you're also, they don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're sort of like, you've got a car or something, a really posh car, and people get a bit jealous of you and envy, don't they?
Of your success, and it's like you don't going back to the whole success. What the main topic of today is how can you don't know what it took for someone else to get to where they if they are very successful in life, you don't know what it took for them to get there, the journey in which they had to get there. So how can you be envious or jealous or any of those things towards the next man for what he's got and what he's accomplished and what he's managed to do in his life, because he's managed to be productive and turn his productivity into success, so you can't be jealous of that. That's he's that person, that individual has worked hard to get there. And don't get me wrong, yes, there are some people that are born with a golden spoon, as they say, who are kind of born into very wealthy, successful families and all that kind of thing, like very rich and wealthy. But that is the minority. The large majority of people that have become millionaires and multi-millionaires, and in some cases billionaires today, especially younger people, have come from nothing, a lot of them. Pretty much almost from the ground up, they've built their businesses and become successful. So how can you hate on the next person for their success? You got to try to manifest the definition of success that you want in your life. Stop hating on someone else and the next person. Get up off your ass every morning, make a plan, get up off your ass every day, and every morning get out of bed and work towards whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, and stop. Don't hate on the next man. Let people people, you know, just allow that to be motivation for you to be driven and inspired, and you know, to want to achieve what, you know, your goals, you know. So yeah.
But like, I think like success is not necessarily being a silver spoon, either, right? You know, you got,
no.
Say you're born into a rich family, right?
Yeah.
And that child is spoiled all, you know, until they're, you know. And
yeah.
some of these people commit suicide because they just don't find happiness because it's all been given to them.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So sometimes even like myself, going, because I've spoken to it a couple of times about my marriage. You know, I worked for 13 years, you know, with a number of jobs, you know, working my life up. You know, and I have 2 children, they're successful as well, you know, they're my success basically. You know, if you have a child, they're your success.
Yeah.
You know, it's taken you, say, 25 years, all right, of feeding yourself every day, learn about life before you have a child in this life, do you know what I mean? And that is success, all right? If you have a child, it's success because you've worked a long time, 25 years, and you suddenly have a baby, right, that's successful. But like I say, I worked for 13 years, yeah, and I thought I had everything, and I thought I was very, very successful, and actually people around me were a little bit envious over me, you know, so I had whatever, or what I had, whatever.
Yeah.
But then, you know, so my wife lost interest and I lost it all. She took my success basically, you know, because I was actually feeding her or whatever, you know, for a number of years, and trying to build my own life up, my own family life up. But then it was pulled, you know, the mat was pulled underneath me, if you see what I mean, and I completely lost it all, you know. So, you know, even a homeless person could be successful, I think. If you can enjoy the moment, if you can enjoy yourself and enjoy life, I think you're successful.
Yeah.
And that's that, you know. It doesn't matter about money or anything.
I think, like we're talking about, I was going to say, of course it does help, but I think I was going to say is what we were talking about last time, you know, outside of our episodes, yeah? It's happiness. Your own personal happiness. To me, if you are happy and you're content with what you have in your life, and you know, I think that is true success. Being happy and content every day of your life, and understanding that life in itself is a blessing, and that you should be happy that you're alive and you've got a roof over your head, you've got a bit of food, and you know, life could be worse, you know, life could be better, but life could be a hell of a lot worse. Most of us are quite blessed, and we forget the small blessings that we have. Just being able to be alive, being able to take a shower every day or a bath, being able to have a nice hot meal, being able to have a nice bed to sleep in. You know, we've got technology, some of us got a mobile, got internet, whatever, we've got access to our entertainment. Like, our lives aren't too bad, you know. Sometimes, you know, we forget about these things, we become complacent and forget about these things because we get so used to it as it becomes so normalised. But I think, yeah, you know, people have to understand that success comes from being content. You know, that real success is that contentness of, you know, knowing that you're blessed, you know, no matter what, you know. And also, don't get me misconstrued, because I think people have a misconception when it comes to being content. Just because you're content and you're happy with your life doesn't mean that you can't strive for more. Yeah, you can be very happy. Like, I'm very happy in my life, you know. I've got a wife and 2 kids, and I work hard, and yes, I have to work a lot and work very hard to provide and all those things, and I'm very busy and it takes up a lot of my time and etc. You know what I mean? I'm still able to do that, if you see what I mean, you know. So, you know, we all have to work towards our own individual definition of success. You know, you have to do some soul searching and some self reevaluating, and you've got to understand. You've got to find what makes you happy in life. What drives you as a person. What are you passionate about? You know, what can you see yourself doing 10, 20 years from now, if you see what I mean. I think all these questions are very important to ask yourself as a young person. You know, you've got to, in order to find yourself and kind of, you know, kind of motivated, you know, because nothing is better in life than being able to have an occupation, because most of us in life we have to work. So if you're able to have an occupation in which you're passionate about and you like it and you enjoy it and you're able to make a good living off of that, I'm not saying you have to be rich and super wealthy, but you're able to make a good living, you're comfortable, you're looked after, or if you've got a wife and a family or whatever, they're looked after, and you know, you're okay, you know. So yeah, you know, I think it's all about, everyone's got their own journey and their own opinions and perspective on what they consider success to be, and it's all about finding your own version of that within yourself. You know, you've got to find what that is for you, what it means for you, and try to attain that. You know, so.
I think you had a successful sort of 3 minutes. You said 2,500 words. I counted them all right in 3 minutes.
Wow, that's a lot.
Right, and I don't know where all those words shot from, you know, and that's success, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
He learned all those words at school, you know, when he was learning to read and all that, you know. And
well, a lot of stuff is self-taught, you know. A lot of my education is self-taught, to be very honest. You know?
Yeah. Well, I say, but you know, like when you're 3 years old, right, you learn how to walk, whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
And you learn how to sort of like walk 10 feet, and everyone's clapping at you, you know, because you're successful.
Yeah.
You know, as a child.
Yeah.
You know, and people don't realise actually walking is successful.
Yeah.
You know, like I've been walking for 56 years now, you know, and I'm still finding it hard, you know what I mean? I still fall over sometimes, let's put it that way, you know. Not often, but as you get older, you do fall up.
You lose your balance a little bit more, you become a bit less.
I think as you get older...
Unless you're really like fit and really, you know.
You know, as you get older, you know, your body does get a bit weaker, you know, so...
Yeah, and health, talking about success, talking about what you're talking about right now, being healthy, in my opinion, is being successful. You know, being healthy, looking after yourself, looking after your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, your sexual health, and everything else that comes within those parameters of that.
Well, I think health is number one, isn't it? You know,
yeah.
For success, really. You know,
if
you're sick in bed, you know, you can't
achieve a lot.
Well, I think you're successful for your life, really, aren't you? You know, on this planet as well. You know, you're not successful for your dead,
no,
are you?
No,
you know,
that's the first success, being alive and.
Yeah, but I think like it's no good being alive and unhappy. That's not successful, is it?
No.
You know, so you got to be alive and happy, and you got to be strong. You know, like a lion, really. You know.
Yeah.
It takes time to get all these strengths.
Yeah.
You know, it takes a number of years. It don't take like a baby. You know, a baby's not born and it's sort of 5 years old and it's tough and it knows everything.
No.
You know, it takes 100 years.
But isn't it funny, going back to what you were talking about earlier, isn't it funny, it just made me think of, isn't it funny, they encourage you to walk, yeah, your parents want to see you walk and get up on your feet and start moving.
And talk.
And then as soon as you start, and talk, but as soon as you start moving around too much, they're telling you to sit down and, you know, sit down and be quiet, you know, they're encouraging you to walk and to talk and to do all these things, and then they're telling you the opposite, sit down and be bloody quiet.
It's like when you go to school, stay still, you know, sit in this chair or go in the corner there, you know, and it's sort of like, you're not allowed to walk around anymore and be free, you know.
It's funny how it's funny as human beings how we encourage from young to do things, and then we're told we can't do them. You know, we encourage people to do them, and then told a year or two later, you can't do it anymore. It's
Yeah, it's a strange world we're living in.
It is a very strange world. That's just one of the very small, minute things of the strangeness of the world, but it's just goes,
Yeah, it's like success itself. They don't teach you anything about how to get successful at school, do they? They don't want you to know in a funny way.
Well, the only real success they teach you about in school is academic success, if you see what I mean. It's like, and large majority of people that leave school don't leave school with, degrees and stuff that are really making them a large, significant amount of money every year, especially in this day and age, because the cost of living in most countries across the world today, apart from a very few select places, the cost of living is astronomical. It's very, very high in most places today. So even people who are making 30, 40, 50,000 K a year, some of the people are even still struggling themselves, because if they're on their own and they're living in a place like New York or London or one of these places where they're paying like, 1,500, 2,000 pounds a month just for one bedroom apartment, and then they got their bills and everything else on top of that, plus everything else, it's still not a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like you still, don't get me wrong, you're gonna be comfortable, but it's not a lot. It's still not a lot of money. Like you're
Well, I
not.
think it's insane that people, human beings, all right, they're the only species that have got to pay bills.
Yeah.
For things or whatever, pay for their food. But all the animals and insects just, they go for what they want.
Yeah.
They ain't got a court system, have they? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you've murdered that snake over there, or say an ant had a fight with a beetle. It don't go to court, does it? Like it does with humans. Humans got this.
No, but we as a human race and species have created a system in which we have introduced the rule, the morality rule, the law of being moral. What is we have implemented and decided what we believe to be moral and not moral, and what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, if you see what I mean. So hence why certain things are considered a crime and you can go to prison for it. So if you steal, if you rob, steal, murder, whatever, those are deemed and considered to be crimes against the law. It's illegal to do those things, and you obviously, as we know, you become imprisoned or you get fined.
But shouldn't war be illegal, really?
It should be, but as we all know, the people that run and control the powers that be are the ones who control, all these things.
I like to keep out of all that.
Yeah, me too.
I'd rather go to the duck pond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
But it's success. What is it? Like it's is a monkey successful?
Yeah.
Is a chimpanzee successful? Just sitting there on a tree eating a banana all day.
Yeah.
Like I say, you can start a business, think you're the most successful person in the world, alright, and then the next minute you lose it the next day.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's true. That is, and it's the same thing goes for people who are celebrities and all these kind of things. Sometimes you get people who they would call like a quote unquote one-hit wonder, where this artist comes out of nowhere and has like this one big song, and it's big for a very long time, and then no one really ever hears about them ever again. If you see what I mean, kind of like that. It's success can fluctuate.
Another thing I'd say about success, because I sort of wrote a few quotes on Facebook the other day, about like for instance me, right, I've not really done much wrong in my life. I've done a couple of things, but not much. I haven't done anything like nasty. Let's put it that way. Like some people have, alright. But your own memories follow you like your own shadow.
Yeah.
And that's what you've got to be careful of, alright? I'm glad that all my memories, alright, like for instance your memories, we all share some memories, like I've said before in the previous episode, like about the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
But your own inner memories, I forgot what I was going to say now. It's gone out of my head.
Yeah, your own inner memories.
Yeah. What was I talking about before?
Twin Towers. You talk about memory.
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah, but yeah, success is an individual thing. Success itself is an individual thing, just like every other thing in the world. Success is subjective. It's opinion based. It depends on what your opinion of that is, if you see what I mean, and what it means to you, and how you kind of apply that to your life, and what you deem to be successful. Like for me, I'm very successful in a lot of ways already, if you see what I mean, in my opinion, because even though I'm not, I wouldn't say that I'm very well off or anything like that. I'm comfortable, if you see what I mean. But I've got a wife and 2 kids, and I've got got a house. We got a house together. We've got a car. We both earn, we both got an income, me and my wife. Our kids are well looked after. We've always got food in the cupboard. We always got some money there to do things and to whatever, to pursue our other goals outside of what we're doing work-wise and other things. So for me, if I was to become completely financially free, if I was to attain a certain amount of wealth where I'm completely financially free, then I think that for me personally, I would probably be almost like completely 100% happy, if you see what I mean. Like that would kind of be like the icing on the cake kind of thing, if you see what I mean. Because I already consider myself successful because I've got, you know, I've been with my wife, you know, I've been married, like I said, for 11 years and got 2 wonderful kids, and you know, got a decent job, and you know, I work hard towards my goals, you know. And of course, if I was to achieve certain things with my certain objectives I've got with my music and other things like that, then that would be even more icing on top of the cake as well, you know. Yeah. But I think if I was to attain complete financial freedom, where I could decide every day, I could be my own boss. That is my goal, if you see what I mean. You know, for me and my family, I want to be my own boss, so I can decide when I want to work, and make and break my own hours, and decide how much time and money and whatever else I'm going to invest into my business, and etc. You know what I mean? Not have to work on someone else's schedule. That's right. Someone else's schedule. And
to be honest with you, I don't think you'll ever be successful when you work with somebody else. You know, basically, when you work with somebody else, you've got they're paying you to sort some of their problems out, basically. Yeah. You know, and you know, you're just taking that weight off them, so they can earn a profit out of you. You know. Yeah. But you know, you do get out some success out of it, of course. You know, you get success out of, you know, every day, I think, you know, but I think the main success is sort of being happy with the moment, and the most important thing of all, I think, is liking yourself, well, loving yourself, really, yeah. Yeah. And I think if you love yourself, yeah, and you found yourself, whatever, that's very successful. Yeah. Because if you love yourself, you'll begin to love life. Yeah. You won't need another girlfriend, I don't think. Do you know what I mean? If you learn to love yourself, right, you won't feel lonely. Yeah, definitely. Life, yeah? Definitely. Yeah. You know, because you're enjoying your own company. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So you don't need anyone else's company if you're actually content and happy with yourself. Mm-hmm. You know, and I must admit, I've not always been happy with myself. You know, it's taken a long time for me to find myself. Yeah. You know. Like I say, I've sort of like had relationships after relationships. It's sort of like the first time in the last 7 years, it's the first time I've not really had a relationship or anything, and I've just been on my own. Yeah. And it's like silence, peace at last, you know, and I'm getting peace of mind, you know. And, yeah. You know, I when I first left school, you know, it's sort of like looking around for somebody to love, you know, and it's a mistake. You know, because when you're looking for something else to love, you're not really loving yourself. You've got to find yourself first. Yeah. But when we're young, a lot of us don't understand that and know that, you know, so we can't, like they say, ignorance is kind of bliss, if you see what I mean, because, you know, if you're young and unaware of certain things, you know. But there are some people out there, don't get me wrong, especially in this day and age, you know what I mean, a lot of younger people are becoming a lot more kind of like conscious and stuff younger these days, if you see what I mean, you know. And they're starting to understand that, you know, you've got to find yourself. One of the main things in life is finding yourself and loving yourself, like you're saying. And you know, once you found yourself and you know who you are, you know, in and out, inside and out. You know, you're brutally honest with yourself, and you know the pros and the cons of yourself. You know, and who you really are as a person. And once you're happy within yourself and accepting of yourself, I think that makes it a lot easier for you to love others, if you see what I mean, and for other people to love you as well, because you're only going to project who you really are. So if people do really love you, then you know they love you for who you really are, if you see what I mean, because you know you're living within your truth, so to speak, and you know people either have to accept that or not, if you see what I mean, you know. So you know, I think that's a big thing as well, is people living within their truth, you know what I mean, I think that brings a lot of happiness. You know, you've got to be honest to who you really are, you know, and accepting, and you know, and don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean that you can't change and you can't do other things as well, you know. But I think one of the first steps of self-realization is when you are doing some soul searching, quote unquote, is sitting down and just, you know, reflecting on yourself as a person. And saying to yourself, okay, well, I know I'm good in these areas of my life, but I'm bad in these areas. You know, I could be more
whatever, I could work harder, or whatever the case may be, you know, whatever you may deem to be one of your flaws, you know, to you as a person, as an individual, you know, because we all know what they are when we're honest with ourselves. We all know what they are deep down inside. So as long as you admit those things to yourself, then, you know, and what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, as long as you admit those things to yourself and you kind of not even confess, but as long as you identify that, that's what I was looking for. As long as you identify that flaw, then you are able to work on it. If you see what I mean, you're okay. Say, okay, I can improve in this area of my life, so I'm going to make a conscious effort and a conscious decision to do everything I can to improve in this area of my life. You know, to bring myself more happiness, you know, or more fulfillment, or more inner peace. You know, because that's all. You know.
Like me, you know, so I know, like, sometimes I smoke a little bit too much, you know, so, you know, that's something that I've got to...
You want to work on, yeah?
Because, I mean, health is number one, you know.
Yeah.
So if you keep on smoking, you know, you're not doing anything good for yourself in a kind of way, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so... You know,
yeah.
So, yeah, but I don't drink, you know, and there's other things, you know, whatever, I don't take any other drugs, whatever, you know. So, that's successful, isn't it? I mean, really, all these drugs about, yeah, everywhere, heroin, whatever, yeah. All these people take all this stuff, you know, and they think they get high, yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah, they think they get high, but the thing is, if you don't take any of it, really, yeah, you know, you don't touch it, yeah, and you're sensible in life, yeah, you get high. You just drink water, yeah, and you get high out of nature. You know, do you know what I mean?
It's better just to have natural highs, if you see what I mean, you know?
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, like, like, personally, I've never touched any of that stuff, you know? I have drunk alcohol before in my past, you know? Not excessively, but I have drunk it here and there in my past, but I haven't drunk for a long time now, you know what I mean? I probably have a drink maybe once or twice a year.